this is a goat breeding masterclass. And within that, you can still do the buying and selling if you need income immediately. So in goat breeding, what you need to consider are 5 key elements. You need to consider your breed. Which type of goats are you going to raise? You need to know and pay attention to the nutrition of the goats, the health of the goats, management, and of course your market. Who are you going to sell your goats to? Now, in terms of breeds, most people here in Zimbabwe, we are breeding the local Mashona and Matebele goats, the Boer goat, the Kalahari goat, the Sanen, and maybe some people even have the Savannah, which is the white goats. That is also quite a good business if that's the way you want to go. Now with the breeds, how we do it here at Bulembe Farm. Yeah, I'll focus as well on how we do goat breeding the Bulembe Farm way. Now remember, for those of you who like junk food, there's McDonald's, right? There's KFC, there's Chicken Inn, there's Pizza Inn, there's Slice Pizzeria, right? At the end of the day, they each produce either fried chicken or pizza, but they each approach their business differently. Yeah? So that's what I want you to understand, that here we're talking about how we are doing it and doing it successfully. You may have to make adjustments when you go back to your own farm to find what actually works for you. Generally, most things will work for everyone, but you might want to tweak here and there to suit your own personal needs, right? So don't be alarmed and say, oh, but I went to Sbanda's farm and he does this. The good thing about visiting different breeders is that you learn different things and you get to experiment, and then you find the one that works for you. And please, please do that. So today is Goat Breeding Masterclass, the Bulembe way. So what we do here at Bulembe, we breed Matebele goats. So all our females, in fact, maybe 95% of our breeding female stock is Matebeles. We have a few Mashona goats, but predominantly Matebeles, and we buy these from Gwanda, Manama area. The reason we go for the Matebele females is because it's a large breed. Yeah, Matebeles can grow to be a big size. And the end game is that we want to breed for meat. So in terms of meat, you want the weight, right? You want to achieve the weight. So we crossbreed our Matebele females with either a Boer male or a Kalahari male. But what we are finding now, because we did both, but what we are finding now is that we actually like the Kalahari better than the Boer. I don't know what it is, but we seem to be faring better here at Bulembe on the Kalahari crossing, better than the Boer crossing. But they are both very good breeds, both of them. So please don't go out and say, I say the Boer is not good. It's absolutely fantastic. I'll give you an example. We have a few Boer females in town. Again, another experiment. Boer females, given them a Boer male. Amazing twinning result. Yeah, amazing twinning result. And the weight as well. But primarily why we crossbreed with the Kalahari or the Boer is to achieve the weight. Because our ultimate goal is to sell what? Meat, yes. But as we are progressing towards the meat goal, in between, you've got to sell something, yeah? You sell for a number of reasons. You sell, yes, you need the money. You sell because you want to avoid inbreeding. Because if you don't get rid of some of your stock, you end up with a situation where brothers, sisters, mothers are mating with each other. And in livestock, that's not a good thing because you end up with inbreeding, and inbreeding leads to smaller animals that to get smaller and smaller and smaller, stunted growth. Just as in humans, it's the same thing. We don't like inbreeding in human beings because we want to maintain good genes. It's the same in the animal and livestock kingdom. So that's what we do. We crossbreed the Matebele females with a Kalahari male and a Boer male. So what we sell in between is breeding stock, is male breeding stock to other breeders. And these ones are called F1s. And sometimes they are just as good as, the original or the pure. Yeah. Sometimes you can get something that really looks like the real deal, but it's not. And we just have to be honest about it when we sell. Nutrition. Now, nutrition is going to be, after buying your stock, is going to be the next most expensive aspect of your business. If you are not growing your own feed, if you are not growing your own fodder, feed is going to be the most expensive item on your bill. But it's important. You cannot ignore it. You mustn't ignore it. It's worth investing in the nutrition of your goats, both male and female, and the kids. Now, that's not to say that we feed throughout the year. We don't. When the veld is good, there's plenty to eat, we hardly feed. But when the veld is dry and we've got pregnant or lactating females, we will feed those. So we only ever feed under different circumstances, not throughout the year. So we will feed our females as we prepare them for what we call the mating cycle. Then we will feed our females if they are pregnant during the dry season. We will feed them just before the kidding season so that they are strong when they are having kids. We feed kids with crib feed. Before we wean them off, we start introducing feed. So they are only ever fed for 3 months. If, say, they are born in March, but if those that are born now, we might feed them for 2 months because they are now going into the rich season during the rains. When else do we also feed? I've mentioned we feed lactating mothers. We feed pregnant mothers 6 weeks before giving birth. We feed females just before they go into the breeding cycle. So now if I can start with the females that get fed before the breeding cycle, basically what we want to achieve is a 99% to 100% conception rate. We want them to be well enough to carry the pregnancy through. We don't want them aborting, because if they are in poor condition, if they are a bit thin, they will abort, because instinct tells them they cannot maintain themselves as well as this baby that's growing within them. So one of them has got to go. And oftentimes it's going to be the baby. And unfortunately, sometimes it can be both, the mother and the baby. So you've got to feed them so that they carry the pregnancy through and they do not abort and they do not succumb and die. If they are pregnant during the dry season, we start feeding them again 6 weeks before the kidding season. Why? Because this is the time when the kid is also growing a lot faster. This is the fastest growth rate for the kid while it's still in its mother's womb. So we feed them. And this kind of feeding is, we feed according to the weight. So we'll feed them 3% of their body weight 6 weeks before kidding, and we'll carry on and maintain that while they are feeding. And remember, this is only during the dry season when veld is lean. But if veld is not lean, they will go out and eat.